Brilliance Audio.
One of Those Faces by Elle Grawl, performed by Lauren Ezzo. Her face is just like mine, but cold and gray, unmoving. I remember holding myself back from reaching in and shaking her, as if she would wake up. But she wasn't asleep. She didn't look real, her skin like polished alabaster. The open casket was a terrible idea. Everyone realized it too late. They all wanted to see their favorite one more time, no matter the cost. It's that same face staring back at me in my nightmares. She ages with me. Now I see a 25-year-old version of myself lying in that coffin, and I stare down into the gray, bloated face that mirrors my own. I lean in closer in every dream and bend down as if she would whisper something. Her eyes rip open, broken seams dangling between her eyelashes, and a hand made of ice around my throat. I opened my eyes in the darkness. My throat and arms were stiff, cold logs anchoring me to the bed. My comforter was below my waist and tangled around my legs, the light from the TV flashing onto the blades of the ceiling fan as it spun above at full speed. I craned my neck to the right side toward the window. Woodstock sat purring on the sill, licking his bright orange fur. I picked my phone up from the nightstand and nearly dropped it. It felt like trying to pull a bowling ball onto the bed with my hand, still tingling back to life. 5:20 p.m. I hoisted myself up with a groan, the evening news song chiming behind me as I stretched my hands overhead. We have an update today about a murder that has set the Logan Square community on edge. Police have now identified the victim as Mother and... I grabbed the remote control and switched the TV off before the anchor could finish her sentence. Crime. That was the news. Always. I pulled my hair up from my shoulders and wrapped it with the elastic band from my wrist before ambling into the bathroom and turning on the light. I kept my eyes down, focused only on the counter in front of me, but caught a glimpse in the mirror as I reached for the medicine cabinet. I jolted at the eerie countenance staring back at me. I was almost as gray and pale as the specter in my dream. Before I could look away, I'd already caught sight of the scar along my neck down to my collarbone. It was red and angry from hours of my tossing and turning. I arranged my hair over my ear and in front of my neck, covering the scar. I dug my fingers into the side of the counter, averting my eyes again from the mirror. Breathe. Some days, it was harder than others to wake up, to remember. By the time I left the bathroom, Woodstock had relocated to my drafting table and was licking his front paws. I walked over and tugged at the drawing underneath him until he jumped down. My self-imposed isolation of the past few days hadn't been nearly as productive as I'd hoped. I was still far behind on my latest illustration job. I brushed away the cat fur from the pen and ink drawing of a mouse in trousers and a billowing white shirt. His eyes were too far apart, and his fur essentially artless scribbles, clearly the product of working at 3 o'clock in the morning after staying awake for 36 hours straight. I sighed and crumpled the paper and dropped it to the floor, barely missing the garbage can. I couldn't handle any more time here alone with myself, or with Izzy. Sarah? Hi! I looked up from the picture book in my hands at the frazzled woman clasping the wrists of 2 small boys desperately trying to wriggle free. Sorry, I muttered. I'm not Sarah. The woman released the boys and appraised me, her gaze lingering on my bulky black sweater before drifting back to my face. Wearing winter clothes in the middle of summer tended to attract attention. Curiosity. We met last week, she insisted. At the museum? You had your daughter with you? Kimmy introduced us. I let her finish. Partially because I was too tired to stop her, but mostly because this was already the longest conversation I'd had this week since ordering a late-night hot dog 3 days ago. Yeah, I'm sorry. That wasn't me. She blinked several times, the fringe from her A-line bob beginning to edge toward her uneven eyebrows. I'm sorry. I could have sworn it was you.